The greedy king. They warned him, but he didn't listen.
Once upon a time, there was a peaceful village known as Ajaneke. Although the king, whose name was JaJa, was very greedy, and he taxed his people more than he was supposed to. But still, there was peace and harmony, until one day when something unusual happened, and this was the beginning of a terror that was to come. It all happened on a sunny afternoon. Tayo, the village hunter, one of the best hunters in the village, ran to the king's palace with so much fear in his face. When he got to the king's palace, he was panting heavily and requested to see the king and the elders of the village. So when the king came out, he quickly summoned his guards to go and call all the elders. When they all came, the king asked Tayo to let them know why he summoned them. "May you live long, my king. My elders, I welcome you too. Thank you all for coming. This morning, as I went to the forest to hunt, I found out that the trap I set caught something that my eyes couldn't believe. This is something I have never seen in my entire life as a hunter, and I humbly request that you all follow me to see it, cause my mouth cannot explain it. I couldn't bring it to the palace because of how terrified I was." The king and all the elders agreed to follow him, and they all went with some guards. When they got to the place, Tayo removed all the leaves he used to hide it. Then they all saw it and marveled. Could this be real? The king thought. It was a half human and half horse. From the head to the stomach was human, while the remaining part was the legs and butt of a horse with a tail. It was injured and looked very weak. The elders were a little bit terrified and told the king that they should summon the wise priestess so that she can tell them what to do about the creature. So the king commanded the guards to carry the creature to the palace prison and chain it there, and to make sure that nobody sees it because they would be terrified too. They also warned Tayo the hunter not to tell anyone about the creature. The next day, King JaJa told his guards to call the old wise priestess to the palace. The wise priestess was an old woman who had lived in the village for years and had been a great help to the villagers when it came to giving advice and healing sick people. When she came, the king took her to where the creature was, and she looked at it, but she didn't seem shocked. Then they went back to the king's chambers, and she told the king to sit down. Immediately, she told him to release the creature and take it back to where he saw it. She continued with a story. "My king, long ago in another kingdom, the same creature was found, and according to history, it possesses great gold and different precious stones, and that kingdom became one of the richest. Soon before they knew it, everyone vanished in the kingdom, never to be seen again. Only one person survived. Return the creature where you found it before an unknown terror comes upon this village." After she told the king this, she left the palace. The king thought about whether he should release the creature or take all the riches that it possesses and bury it. Later that day, the elders came and asked the king what the priestess told him. The king lied to them and didn't tell them the entire truth. She said that I should release it after 3 days and put it where we found it. The elders believed his lies and left the palace. The greedy king wanted all the riches for himself alone, so he didn't tell anyone about it. One cold night, he went to the prison alone. Then he looked at the creature and saw a golden sign at the right side below its armpit area, and he thought to himself that that must be where the gold was. So he carried a knife. He tore the creature a little so that his hand can enter inside. He then put his hand inside and was surprised when he saw gold and precious stones. But the creature started bleeding and crying. The king got a bag and put all the gold and precious stones inside it, then carefully carried it and hid it. Before he got back, the creature died. Then he summoned his guards and instructed them to take it to the forest and bury it, and they did as the king commanded. Few days later, the king became one of the richest kings A lot of his guards and his entire household also wore shiny pearls and gold on themselves. Even with his new riches, he still collected high taxes from his people in the village. The elders noticed the shiny gold and asked him where he got it. And he lied and said a stranger came to the palace and blessed him with all the gold and pearls. Some of the elders asked the king to bless them too with precious stones. And the king gave them. But the other elders noticed that something was not right and they left the palace. The king decided to have many guards so that they would protect him in case anything wanted to happen. It wasn't long before terror struck the king's household and the elders who collected from him too. One morning, King JaJa woke up and couldn't find his first son. They searched everywhere but couldn't find him. Later that day, they found his first son dead with a mark on his head. That day, everyone mourned for his son. The next day, 2 of his children went missing. And the same thing that happened to his first son happened to them. There was sadness in the palace. The elders came to the palace to mourn with the king and told him to summon the wise priestess. Maybe she would have a solution. But the king refused. The next time, it was 3 people that went missing, 2 of his wives and 1 of the elders' wife. And they were later found dead with a mark on their head. Terror filled the land as the number of deaths increased daily. The elders took matters into their own hands and summoned the priestess to the king's palace without the king's knowledge. When she got to the palace, the elders told her what has been happening. She looked at the king and said, "What did you do to the creature?" The king immediately confessed, and all the elders shouted. The priestess sighed and said, "You remember in the story I told you that only one person survived? I was that person, and I survived because I didn't collect any of the gold or precious stones gotten from the creature. There is no solution. Anyone that touches or spends the gold or precious stones will die. This matter is beyond the gods. I don't know this creature, nor where it stays, or what they are. Nobody knows." Few days later, the king, his entire household, and the elders that took from him with their families all ended up dead. The remaining elders made sure they burnt the king's palace and built another one. It is important to understand that greed and lust for wealth can lead to terrible consequences. Always listen to instructions or wise advice. The end. If you enjoyed this story, please like, leave a comment, and subscribe.